folks. Today we are here in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and we're going to head into Star Cars. It's been a minute since we've been in there. Dawn, are you ready?
Ready. Let's do it.
Let's do this. It's been a minute since we've been to Hollywood Star Cars Museum. Probably at least 6 years. And there's nothing like the Batmobile. It's signed by George Barris himself. So I'm assuming he had built this Batmobile. So years and years ago, I was at Autorama in Detroit, and I got to meet George Barris. And I was walking down one of the aisles before the show opened, and I saw this group of guys walking around that had Barris jackets on. And lo and behold, it was George Barris and a group of his folks. And he built a lot of these rides that we've seen in movies over the years. Of course, he built the Batmobile. And yeah, this is right here. Barris Customs. North Hollywood, California. Now, George passed away a few years back. And, but we have his cars. He had an imagination, you know what I mean? And this thing looks like it could fly, you know? I'm assuming they're coming out of the Bat Cave. Mustang Shelby GT 500, named Eleanor. If you ever watched the movie Gone in 60 Seconds, the new one with Nicolas Cage, this is the car here. A lot of the cars that are in here are not original. They are reproductions. Like the Batmobile, I believe that's a George Barris reproduction. So he rebuilt this for museums, but it's not the one that was used in the movies. But they are, you know, lookalikes, very close to the originals. I'm not sure how many are original in here, if there is any. And that's definitely the inside of a 67 or 68 Mustang. This Nissan Skyline was driven by Paul Walker in the Fast and Furious GTR. It says it was driven by him. Not sure if it was used in the movie. And this is a Barris. General Lee, it's got his symbol on there. And the Flintstone Mobile. And it's another Barris Custom. Was that the Royal Order of the Buffalo? I think it's what it was, right?
Yep, he's got the red Puma head on.
Oh. And you got, who is this guy, Dawn? Dino? Yeah.
Dino. And there's a cat up there.
Yabba dabba doo. So there's a lot of really cool movie-themed cars in here. Yeah, lots of fun. This 91 Harley Davidson Fat Boy was driven by Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah, Arnold had ridden this.
Get in the chopper.
Get in the chopper, right? And I got some really cool memorabilia from the Terminator. And we are gonna head up. Oh boy, Dawn. Is that Christine?
So.
It is. Well, she's mean, isn't she?
Yep. That's what I'm on.
Remember the movie Christine?
Get people and run them over.
That's pretty much what. Well, I think she did some things with the door and other things too, but.
She did bring someone over. Look at the foot.
Is there a foot down there?
Yeah.
Yeah, she did run somebody over there,
I had a
didn't she?
feeling she was going to take someone out.
And who remembers the Munsters? Yeah, that's Dragula.
Dragula.
Of course, that's another.
That's a cool car, though.
Yeah, and that's another Barris custom. Yep.
Robert would be proud to have that in there. Here's Grandpa in the bottle of booze.
Yeah, the Munsters. Dragula. The George Barris Star Car Theater. And they have a little movie in there that you can learn about Barris's creations.
He had this car here.
A tour through the Hollywood Star Cars Museum is a trip through some of the most famous movies and TV shows of the last 50 years. Many of the cars are the creation of George Barris, who has made more famous Hollywood movie and TV cars than anyone. Regarded by many as the king of the customizers, George's creations are legendary in the world of television and motion pictures, including the likes of TV's original Batmobile, the Munsters' Dragula, the Beverly Hillbillies' Jalopy, and many more. He's a man who was determined from the beginning to do things his way.
When I went to school, I wanted to learn how to do cars. They had me in a middle class making drain pipes. I quit. They had me in the art class drawing flowers. I quit. So I just finally said, I give up. I'm going to do cars my way. I had to be self-taught. So I ended up starting a shop with my brother over in Los Angeles and over in Linwood. People loved what I was doing in my car. So they would come and do this to my car, chop my top, do this, do that.
In the 1960s, George became heavily involved in vehicle design for television production. One of the first shows he worked on was the Beverly Hillbillies.
Hills, that is.
Then, in 1966, Barris was called upon to create a set of state-of-the-art wheels for what would soon become TV's top crime-fighting superhero, Batman. After becoming accustomed to driving Barris's stylish cars for TV and film, celebrities soon wanted customized transportation of their own.
Bob Hope was a golfer. Of course, he did a lot of golfing in Palm Springs. I had a golf cart with his face on it for on the golf course. But to drive between Palm Springs and the golf course and Beverly Hills or Hollywood, he had this car here. Elvis was probably the most kindest, nicest man I ever met. When I was building this car in my plant, he'd come in and inspect the car, and he'd go to all my 20 men, say, Mr. Tubbs, how you feeling today? The curse of the James Dean death car. The car that was crashed, I acquired from the family, from Marcus Winslow, and we took it on a police convention tour. That means we went from different cities and put out drive safe, your life, your mind safe. Every scene, every place the car seemed to go, there was some kind of an occurrence that happened. So that's where we started what we call the curse of the James Dean death car.
George Barris's cars have thrilled and inspired generations of fans. Creating more cars for film and television than anyone in America, he has truly earned the title, King of Customizers.
And that's what George Barris looked like when I met him. He had the same yellow jacket on. Pretty cool. This car was built by George Barris to recreate James Dean's infamous cursed car for the film Race with Destiny. But it is a George Barris custom, and of course George, he's the one who made all these iconic movie cars that we all grew up with. And here's a Willys Jeep, and this is Bumblebee, right? Bumblebee from from Transformers, right? And I think this over here was Bumblebee too. I think he was a bug. I don't know, I'm kind of confused. It's been probably, oh my gosh, I don't know, maybe 7-8 years since I've seen any of the Transformers movies. You probably didn't watch any of the 007 movies, but this car was crazy. In fact, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, there's like missiles or something that come out of the front of this, or yeah, right here, the headlight there. But anyways, a lot of fun. Brings back a lot of memories of these movies that we grew up with. And there's a little guy down there on the shifter. I don't know what he's about, but and you can look down onto the parkway. There's a lot of folks down there today. And that's Bumblebee there. Isn't Bumblebee a Camaro these days? I don't know. I think he's been everything, right? A Jeep, a Bug, probably a Camaro, right? I got posters from different 007 movies. Casino Royale. That's actually signed by Daniel Craig there. So they have a lot of different like movie props and a pretty cool collection. A gold bar used to lure Goldfinger. They have Odd Jobs bowler hat. And one movie you can't forget is Smokey and the Bandit, the 1977 Pontiac Trans Am. Yeah, just an iconic car. And I can almost see Burt Reynolds in there. Nicolas Cage in The Ghost Rider. I barely remember this movie. And the Beverly Hillbillies. I think everybody knows this car. Old Granny up there riding in that rocking chair. You can almost see Don Knotts. Oh wow, Don Knotts signed the glove box of this Fairlane 500. Yeah. And Twister. And the TV series MASH. Now, I remember seeing a few episodes. It's been many, many years. But if I'm not mistaken, it was based around Korea. This was Wolverine's vehicle in Logan. I have never seen the movie Logan before, so I couldn't tell you much about it, but I'm assuming this is the vehicle he driven. Yeah, so this was Paul's 2006 single edition Cadillac CTS. This is what he driven when he lived here in California. Of course, with it being a left-hand drive. But that's Paul's Caddy, the Beatles. You walked the famous, yes, you walked. Yeah, wow, it's cool, huh? Yeah. And the DeLorean. A lot of memories of the DeLorean here. Doc, you're trying to tell me you made a time machine out of a DeLorean? Anyways, yeah. And probably one of the most recognizable vehicles. Ghostbusters, yes, that crazy Hearst. It's here, right? Yep. I think it could have been an ambulance too. I'm not sure, but
this was in the back seat.
Is that Slimer back there? Of course, they have all the ghost busting equipment you need, right? It's cool to walk with these cars, and brings back a lot of memories of the movies we grew up with. And this one I do know. I remember this one. This is actually Dolly's Cadillac. She owned this at one time. This was her Cadillac, and I believe she she was traded a new Cadillac for this Cadillac or something. I know this is up there in the story, but yes, that's Dolly's caddy. And I don't think Dolly drives a whole lot. I don't think she ever really did. You know, she has people drive for her, but she has talked about adventures when she did drive, you know, in a lot of different books and interviews and stuff. But yeah, it's a 1997 Cadillac, and Dolly did sign the armrest. I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, she signed the armrest there. Dolly has tiny little feet. 1990 Chevrolet Lumina NASCAR, the metal yellow car. Well, then you have Stephen McQueen's Le Mans, and over here you have Ford versus Ferrari. It says that the car's dashboard was autographed by Steven Spielberg. The dashboard is signed by Steven Spielberg. Well, and this is the car from Le Mans. And Ford versus Ferrari. Number 98. I have not seen this movie. My dad did before he passed. Of course, it's about Carl Shelby and Le Mans. Oh, GT40. Yeah, this is the 1955 Ford Thunderbird, driven by Dennis Wilson of the Beach Boys. And it's got some of the Beach Boys signatures on there. Bruce Johnson. One of my favorite movies growing up was Herbie the Love Bug. Did you watch Herbie?
I did watch Herbie Love Bug and Herbie Goes Bananas.
Herbie Goes Bananas. Yeah. That was a Disney franchise. Herbie the Love Bug. He was a 67 Volkswagen Beetle. Oh. And then this here is Bob Hope. Bob Hope looks like he's up to no good over there. You see that? Yeah, he's like, I don't know, it looks like he's having a rough day. But anyways, yeah. It's quite a fun. This was Bob Hope's 1953 Buick Skylark. 1975 Lincoln, owned by the man that takes care of business, Elvis Presley. And I believe this is an original. This was owned by Elvis. I believe that's the title there. And yeah, I believe that this is. See, it's hard to tell because there's a couple cars in here that are real. Of course, Dolly Cadillac is. I believe Elvis, this is his Lincoln.
Yeah.
But some of them are remakes too, and they don't really clearly tell you. So I could be wrong on some of these cars, but I believe this was real. I'm not sure about the Beach Boys, but I have a feeling that was probably also. And I think that's Bob Hope's Buick Skylark also. And then over here, I believe this is Michael Jackson's Mercedes. The sign here says it was owned and driven by Michael Jackson. It's a 1985 Mercedes-Benz 500 SEL. So yes, Michael Jackson owned and drived this here. Of course, Dawn is a big fan of Michael Jackson, especially Thriller.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Definitely a little bit.
Yeah, it's definitely. So, yeah, so all these vehicles here have been owned by the folks who they belong to, I guess, right? 1966 Stingray that was used in the movie The Fast and the Furious. I seen like the first 2 Fast and the Furiouses, then I didn't watch them after that. So here's some of the cars from the Fast and the Furious movies. Of course, this Charger is the one I remember from the Fast and the Furious. That ending scene with Vin Diesel. Yeah. Pretty cool, huh? Pretty cool. And there's one more vehicle tucked in the corner here that we all know. Downstairs they had the original Batmobile, but over here they got, yes, the Michael Keaton Batmobile. It's hard to see. It's kind of dark in here. But I think everybody knows this iconic car who grew up in the 90s. And I remember this movie first came out. It was like, wow. Yeah. Yeah. There's some movie props. Bike was partially owned by Steve McQueen. And exit to the Parkway. Oh, there's old Kit busting through.
Oh, wow.
It's a lot of fun to head into the Star Cars and check out all them Barris customs. What did you think, Dawn?
I enjoyed it. We don't know if they're all original from the movies, but it is what it is, and it's in their Star Cars, and it's worth it.
Yeah, it's a lot
I
of
love
fun.
looking at the cars.
Especially if you want to get photos with some of these cars, you know, that's great. Now, a lot of the cars in there are Barris customs, you know, they're remakes from George Barris and his company. But some of those cars are not used in the movies. They're not movie originals.
He would know.
Yeah. But they're still George Barris vehicles. You know, he's the one who created them, and then he just made a bunch of others, you know, so everybody can enjoy them in museums and stuff. I like Dragula. It's a lot of fun.
That was a fun car. And the
Yes.
Flintstones is always fun.
Yeah. Of course, that's a real Elvis Presley Lincoln. Of course, that's Dolly's
Original
Cadillac.
Original Michael Jackson car.
So, folks, that's going to do it for today here in Gatlinburg. You guys like this vlog?
Give it a thumbs up.
Give it a
Or
thumbs
two
up.
thumbs up.
2 thumbs up. Please subscribe so you don't miss these upcoming Smoky Mountain adventures. And until next time.
Thanks for watching.
Bye, everyone. I don't think Bob Hope is up to any good.